Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. This one is covering how I get my agency clients and also keeping things simple and actually getting more done by doing less, okay? So I want to talk about, I want to remind you on this channel, I don't talk horribly technical. I don't want to discuss things that you can Google. I want to take core principles that I know have grown my business, because here I am today going from my parents' bedroom, or my bedroom in my parents' home, to a dream apartment, like an honest to goodness dream setup, downtown from where I grew up. Right across the street is this prestigious business college that I was told I needed to go to, and yet I'm here in my apartment overlooking it. And I want to tell you, it's core, simple things applied well that actually make you money. It's not advanced things. There's no true advanced tactics. And I want to break this false belief. People think that there's like some unknown thing behind the curtain that I'm doing that you don't understand, or there's some sort of a weird, I don't know what people think, but I remember being where you were. Maybe if you're a beginner, you're thinking, holy cow, how is he doing this? Like, what is special about this person? And I got to tell you, there's nothing special. At the end of the day, all that business is people are paying me money for things that they want more than they want the money. It's that simple. And when you can develop offers and offerings, services and products that meet that criteria, you begin to build a substantial business. And it's truly that simple, okay? Then it becomes a matter of bottlenecks and a matter of, what is stopping you from selling this more? Or why is it only priced at 1,000 when it could be 5? How do we get it to 5? And how do we get it to 5 and sell more of it? And how do we sell it more automatically? How do we remove you from the process? Things like that, right? So I want to talk in this video about keeping things simple and how I get my agency clients. Because what I think people do is they think that I'm doing something that is horribly advanced that they don't understand, or that there's some sort of a secret magic bullet that if you just buy my $997 course, you're gonna have the bullet and you're gonna be able to dominate and become a teenage millionaire or something stupid like that, right? But the reality is that there is nothing behind this curtain. The only thing behind this curtain is removal of self from the business process, building systems and machines that work for me so that I can focus on working on the business and not in the business, and getting really good at selling. Like, that's the main, that's really, those are the top tier, most high priority things for me to do. So let me cut the noise though. I know a lot of people here aren't here to get lectured to on, their video choice. You clicked on this video because you want to learn how to get agency clients, and now some kid is telling you that, you are going at it wrong or whatever. That's not fair. Here's how I get my agency clients, okay? Facebook groups. I use Facebook groups. I post in Facebook groups. You can check some of the more popular like internet marketer groups. I have lots of posts in there that do very well. Those attract business. I get on Messenger. I speak with the people who engage with my posts one-on-one, get a conversation going, move them to a strategy session. I have them book a strategy session with me, and then I try and close them there. That's a very consistent stream of leads for my business. That is how I had a client recently pay me $5,000 for an upfront service fee. I posted into the group saying, hey, here's how you can grow your online course business. And, I just gave some steps, and it was really good information, and they ended up reaching out to me. It's really that simple, okay? And I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound like up my own butt on this stuff, but it really truly is simple. It's going to where the market is, putting content in front of them, getting them over this trust hump is what I call it. Get them over this hump, this trust hump, where they then trust and value your opinion to the point where they'll get on a longer call with you and speak with you about your services on a more detailed basis. It's really that simple, okay? So that's Facebook groups. The other method is Facebook advertising. And right now I'm sort of in a hump with this because Facebook shut me down, so I haven't been able to run ads for my own business for a minute. So that's pretty frustrating, but typically I would be spending about $300 to $400 for a sales call with a reasonably qualified agency client. And so how we do this is I actually have my team running these now. So I used to just run them myself, but now that I've got the agency team, they know full well how to do this for our clients, and so I just eat my own cooking. I am a client of my own agency, so it's a really nice place to be. But if you're doing this yourself, it's fairly simple. Look at your niche, look at the key interests that they might be interested in. If you're targeting dentists, look up some popular dentist influencers, some popular dentist books, TV shows, softwares, those are your interest targets, okay? And you run ads basically sharing the story of, what things would look like if they were able to fully implement, what you're teaching, okay? And what you're doing for them. And so like with my ads, I target like Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels, like Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Infusionsoft, ManyChat, any softwares that might imply potentially somebody who's a course seller or a consultant or a coach of any kind, right? And I will run ads to these people and they will say, look, here is how, this client, for example, I'll take a client example and I'll say like how they went from like $5,000 or $6,000 a month to like $40,000 to $50,000 a month. And I'll give some free advice on the ad itself, send them to a page where they can opt in, watch a video. It's just like this 30-minute case study video where they can learn more about what we did for this person, how it works, and then they're offered a free strategy session call. There's a button underneath where they can schedule a call. They can fill out a form and schedule a call. And then those calls appear on my Google Calendar. So I look at my calendar. If there's a call on there that I think doesn't fit, I'll just cancel it, and I only leave the ones that I think are good. I hop on those calls, and I have like a 1 out of 3, maybe 1 out of 4 close rate on these calls. So we're spending about $1,000 to $1,200 to acquire a client. And again, our clients pay us a reasonable amount of money, monthly or one-off, right? So like one-off, I've charged like $8,500 before, $5,000. That range, like $5,000 to $10,000, tends to be the one-off range. I'll also do trainings for like $10,000 to $20,000, depending on where they're at, where I'll actually just like spend time with them in person, helping them with this stuff. And so we've got a lot of offerings. And so we spend money to make money. It's that simple, right? And another way that I get clients is obviously my brand. So, obviously YouTube attracts some clients. And so this is a platform that I've worked on and built for myself for the past year, maybe year and a half, very intentionally to attract 2 types of people. 1, people who need help growing their agency, so I can sell coaching and course services to them. And 2, people who are wanting to sell their own courses and their own coaching, and so that I can help them either on an agency basis or on a one-on-one basis to help them do that. Okay, whether it's done for you or done with you. So coaching coaches, helping them grow their thing, which is a weird thing, but it works. So that's how I get my clients. And that is what moved me that's not what moved me. What moved me from where I was to where I am now. It was as simple as focusing on the few key things that were working and doing them more and compounding them upward. So if you spend $100 on Facebook ads and you make $300 back, the stupid thing to do is to go buy a pair of Yeezys. The smart thing to do is to take that $300, put it back in, and then, 100 to 300, 300 to 900. Put the 900 back in, what does that become? I think like 2,700, right? Put the 2,700 back in, what does that turn into? That turns into like 8,100, right? Something like that. I think I'm doing the math wrong, but I could be doing it right. I don't know. So you take this and you compound it. You take the systems that are working and you find ways to create feedback. So like with YouTube, for example, the problem with YouTube is it doesn't scale very well because I'm purely relying on my time and the amount of engagement my content gets. So I've decided to run YouTube pre-roll advertisements. So like those advertisements you see before videos where you can like skip the ad. Or maybe it's on this side. I don't know which side it'll be on this video. You could just skip the ad, right? So I'm recording a new ad now, but I used to run an ad that was like, hey, my name's Trey. I grew this marketing business, and here's some client payments, and like I just have this free YouTube channel where you can come check me out. And I'm sure some of you came from that. And that allows me to control the traffic flow on my YouTube. I'd rather pay for it so I have control over it so I can control the scalability of it, right? And so what does all this mean? Let's take a big step back. What does all of this mean? I feel like I'm kind of going on a bunch of little mini tangents and a bunch of little routes. What's the consistency here? What is the core principle? The core principle is 2 things. 1, be a scientist. Test different angles and test different methods and see what works. Okay, don't assume something works because someone else is doing it. See for yourself that thing works and make it work for yourself, okay? And 2, once you've discovered a positive operation, like, something that you can do that works, a system with a positive feedback loop, invest in that system and stay broke and just keep that system growing, okay? Even this apartment, even this apartment is simply a business move. I'm fully, totally aware that this changes the way that people view me. From being in a bedroom to being here. It's a total different shift in how people view me. I can have clients out, I can have students out, I can have a mastermind. This background on YouTube videos, this background on ads, this background on sales calls helps massively, massively. So even the $3,500 a month I'm spending on this is a tactical move forward in my business because it's a perception thing, right? I honestly couldn't care less whether I'm in like a rinky-dink apartment somewhere in the middle of nowhere or if I'm in a nice, luxurious spot like this. It is purely a way of reinvesting profits back into the front so that they are more effective, so that all the money I spend is more effective. So for $3,500 a month, would you spend $3,500 a month to let your ads make you an extra, 0.6 to 1.2x return on your investment? Absolutely I would. And that was why I did this, right? So you got to be thinking strategically how you take the money and reinvest it. So anyway, how do I get my clients ads, Facebook groups, my personal brand, and sometimes I do cold outreach if I really, really like the person and I think I could really win them over, but it's very rare. I don't think I've ever truly gotten a client from true cold outreach. My cold is typically somebody that's engaged with me before that has just kind of floated in my network, and I ended up reaching out to them first before they reached out to me. Said, hey, I've seen you around, seen you liking my Facebook posts, seen you commenting on my ads. Just wanted to reach out, see how you're doing, see if I could help you. We get on a call and I end up selling them on something. So that's like the only true cold I've done is, using my platform to then reach out to somebody with some extra authority, okay? So, keeping things simple. Things are no more complex than you make them to be. So if you have one method of attracting clients and one service that you give to those clients, and then one niche that you give the service within, that is when things begin to start to compound fairly quickly because you can scale that. That is scalable. What isn't scalable is 5 to 10 different ways of getting clients, a couple different services that you offer. You've got 3 to 5 people on your team and the team's kind of bloated and you don't really all know what you're doing, and you don't really have a consistent price point. You're kind of just operating on a whim, or maybe you have packages. You sell packages, like $1,500 a month packages, but you don't really know objectively what those packages include even as the agency owner. You're kind of confused by your own offerings. You don't really know what to expect with them. That is a bloated, complicated agency. You don't want to be there. Where you want to be is you want to be in a position where you know how to get clients, you know what services they need, you know what is required of you in order to deliver the services, and it's a fairly streamlined process, right? So I feel like I'm beating around the bush here. I can't figure out how to word this properly, but I guess what I want to say is the more variables you introduce, the harder it will become. There's no business that exists that doesn't require you to simply wake up, make 2 or 3 good decisions that day, and then go back to bed. That's really as simple as it is. And that's even a direct quote, I think, from Jeff Bezos. He says that like in some interview, I think. He's like, look, all I've done for the past 15 years is I've woken up, I take my time in the mornings. He says he likes to like piddle in the mornings and like do whatever he wants in the mornings, and he goes to work. And then when he's at work, all he has to do is look at his business objectively and say, all right, what needs fixed today? And what needs grown? How do we fix things that aren't working? And how do we add new things that could work better than what we have currently? And so he looks at it that way and he says, okay, let's do 3 things today. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And that's what he does that day. And then he calls it a good day. And if he feels like he's doing too much, he cuts himself off and he goes home, right? And that is how you need to learn how to operate. Look at your business objectively. What are the 2 or 3 things I could do today that move it forward, that don't harm it, and that bring more value ultimately to the people that pay me? How do I do those things? So thinking in terms of objectivity and thinking in terms of systems. If you truly religiously devoted yourself to making 2 to 3 good decisions every single day in your business, things that move your business forward, you will be far ahead of any of your competitors within like 2 or 3 years, because most people in this space, all they're doing is they are building massive amounts of flash with no backing. They're building a lot of upfront effort. They're building a big audience really quick, selling that whole audience on something that doesn't work, and then they're booting out. That is the typical thing for internet marketers, okay? So if all you did literally, if all you did was avoid doing that for 3 years and just built your audience and created a loyal platform for yourself of people that are interested in what you have to say, then you will have a serious empire, Nonetheless, if you have high-ticket services that work and a great reputation around those services and a client base of 5 to 10 people paying you, multiple 4 figures monthly, that's when you can really make a lot of money. And so I'm actually about to have a student out here. His name's Bastian. He's doing $40,000 a month, and he's built that in about 3 months, right? And the way that he's done that is he's basically gone out, he's put out a bunch of content and built an audience around his offers. And that audience is super, super loyal to him because he's got a story that they love. So now he can sell his offers to them, and he's a consultant very similar to myself. He runs an agency, and he has coaching, right? 40 grand a month. Took him 3 months. And all he had to do was simply make his business about the people that want his services and not about him, okay? And then things started to skyrocket very quickly. So hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, though, without trying to overcomplicate things or without trying to ramble on for too long, I hope this video made sense. I feel like I may have beaten around the bush or gone on a bunch of little tangents. Hopefully it was still valuable to you. To summarize things, make things super simple. Understand the parts that make up your business as a whole and which of those parts isn't working. Which of those parts is a bottleneck versus an asset that actually grows the whole, okay? And if it's a bottleneck, expand that bottleneck. Figure out why is it a bottleneck? How can we expand that bottleneck? For example, if you're using Facebook groups to get clients, the bottleneck obviously becomes some Facebook groups won't let you, if they feel like you're promoting at all, they'll ban you. That's a bottleneck. Another bottleneck is you have to write the post yourself and post yourself and do comments and messages and everything yourself. You could hire somebody for that. That removes the bottleneck. Maybe another example would be some Facebook groups only have so many people in them. So that's another bottleneck. So maybe you need to join more than just 2 or 3 Facebook groups. Join 50 Facebook groups, that's a bottleneck. And maybe another one is you don't know when to post or how to post. So maybe you need to look at some of the other people who have posted in these groups and what they have done that has worked well, and maybe do some consulting with somebody who's done it well. That's another bottleneck removed. So you need to look at these processes and observe their bottlenecks and remove the bottlenecks within them. So objectively, look at your whole thing. For myself, for example, for myself, I can look at my business and say, why have I not gotten any clients this past 3 weeks? Okay, so I haven't done enough promoting. Why have I not done enough promoting? Well, I've been busy with something else. What's the something else? It's this. Okay, so why is this taking up so much of my time? You just got to objectively force yourself to move down your business without emotion and just pure, unfiltered logic. And that's what you have to do. It's really hard, honestly. It's incredibly hard if you're anything like myself. I'm naturally sort of a creative type of person. The logician in me required a lot of training to become alive and active, okay? But you have to arrive there. So anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Hopefully this was valuable for you. Hopefully this taught you something, and hopefully you had some key takeaways from this piece of content. If you're ready to start and grow your agency one-on-one with me, I'm not a cheap guy to work with, but you can schedule a free call to see if you're qualified in the description to get some one-on-one help to grow this thing. And I will take it as seriously as you take it. I've changed many lives, and that's a beautiful thing to get to say, and I really want to change yours as well. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.